going up to the ceiling, round the shoulders, or have a little shoulder roll, and lift your heart and just gaze a little bit more forward, right leg up towards. Welcome to our core session today. So might be a little bit longer than normal, this one. I'm not, we'll see how we go on. So today we're focusing on strengthening the abdominal muscles, everything around the waist to support the spine, and also a little bit of pelvis dissociation, hip dissociation. So teaching ourselves to keep the hips still so the legs can move freely within the hip joints to help with the mobility of the hips, and also that will help with the rest of the body. That's what we're going to focus on today. So let's get started. Equipment today, I'm just having a look at my list. We don't really need anything. I've always got blocks and a little cushion there, but you don't need anything else. So we're going to start just by warming up the lower back. So my hands are under my shoulders, knees are under my hips. So where my little cushion is, that's where my gaze is going to go to, because often people look down, and I'm going to exaggerate this. When we look between the legs, it pulls the shoulder blades together, and then the whole rib cage is hanging down. So by looking forward and lifting and pushing the sternum or your heart away from the floor, we'll land up with a flat back, so the shoulder blades are not winging. Now from here, just draw your tummy in a little bit so that we're not hanging in that lower back. Take a breath in. As you breathe out, you're going to tuck your tailbone under. So think of a dog sticking his tail between his legs. We're going to pull the pubic bone towards the heart or the sternum and just stretch up through the vertebra until you get towards the neck, and then just let the head hang. So I like to have a little bit of movement forward and back here. Nice big stretch. And then send your tailbone up to the ceiling, round the shoulders, or have a little shoulder roll, and lift your heart and just gaze a little bit more forward. Some people like up there, but I don't like that on the neck, so I send my gaze just a little bit further forward. And then start to follow your own breath. Don't overthink this. We are just mobilizing the spine. Just getting it moving. It might be first thing in the morning for you. It might be in the afternoon. And we just want the body to move. Good. And then bring yourself back to this position here. So we are going to come into the back now. I'm going to carry on with those little pelvic movements. Oh. And I like to have a cushion under my head just because of the shape of my neck. You might not need one, or you might find one a little bit comfortable, but make sure that it's just something nice and soft. So neutral pelvis is when the two hip bones and the pubic bone are parallel to the floor. So there will be a little arch in the lower back, but not a huge one. So if you're lying there and there's a massive gap, just feel where is the weight in your pelvis. You might find it sitting more towards the coccyx. So you just need to roll the pelvis back. So I want to say it's above the crack in the bum cheeks. There's no polite way of saying bottom cleavage. It's above the bum cheeks where the weight is going to be sitting, but not quite up where the elastic band is of your trousers. So if you've got all the weight in your lower back, like I'm doing now, you're going to find that the hips are rolling towards you. So it's that little midpoint between really arching your back and no arch. It's that middle point. Okay, so nice flat over there. So again, you can have your hands on your hips. I like to get feedback from my body, but you can also put your hands on the floor. And your knees are in line with your hips, hip bones at the front here. So we'll take a breath in. As you breathe out, you're going to send your lower back down towards the floor and bring your hip bones towards your rib cage, so that we take the curve out. But what we don't want to do is use the legs or the bums. Okay, otherwise it's becoming a leg workout, and we're trying to warm up the abdominals. So release as you come back to the start. Take a breath in. As you exhale, draw the tummy down. So I'm trying to get all these abdominals firing up. So you've got to keep the bum switched off. So if you're not sure, poke your bum. It should be nice and soft. Shake, shake, shake. Paul would say jelly on a plate. And then release. Good. So we'll do one more. Breathe in and exhale. Bum's relaxed. Lovely. And then we're going to come back to the start. So now we're going to come into a little bit of pelvis or hip dissociation. So we're going to use the core to anchor the pelvis down so that when we start to move the legs, the rest of the body is not moving. Okay, so we're going to do what's weight shifting first. So we'll start with one leg. So all I want you to do is just slightly take the right foot off of the floor, enough for you to grab a piece of paper underneath. And you might feel everything rock to one side, and then put that one down, relax, and then lift the other foot. Now what you want to notice, and I'm going to exaggerate this, is when you lift one foot, does that happen? So is there movement in your spine as you're lifting the feet? So where you feel that pressure in the back of the pelvis, where your pelvis is connecting to the floor, that's where you want to make it heavy. Okay? And what I mean by heavy is when you start to float 1 foot off the floor, there's no movement left and right. So I can feel my tummy is kicking in. All these abdominals are kicking in. So if I put my fingers on my hips, you're not really going to be able to see, hopefully, any movement. The back is still in a little arch, but now it can be because of tight muscles or it can be because of weakness. What might happen for some people is the back might lift, the tummy wants to pop out, which is not good. Okay, it's not safe. So what we always teach at the studio, especially with new people, is flat back. So you come to your pelvic tilt, exhale, you take that curve out. Now your brain can feel the spine touching the floor. And your goal is to not let that spine come off of the floor. Okay, so we are using the floor for feedback. And we're going to try that heaviness again. So I'm putting all the weight there, and I'm going to try and lift a foot without my hips moving, and then the other side. And often doing one leg at a time is harder. So now keep your back imprinting. The tummy is pulled in. Now see if you can lift both the feet, and you're going to feel this big pull. But check, has your back lifted like I've just exaggerated now? And everything needs to be pulling back, and you can feel that's quite challenging. So if you're lying there not feeling anything, you're not doing it right. So your back should be, I want to say forcing, you should be pulling the back down, the tummy is pulling in, and then see if you can softly put your feet on the floor without losing this connection, and then relax. So just doing that weight shifting and the stability in the hips, keeping the hips completely still, should feel like work if there's effort in that. So like I said, if you're lying there and you're not feeling a thing, something isn't right. Okay, so pelvic tilt, lower back is down, and then I'm going to soften the feet, lift them up, and then just gently place them onto the floor. So my toes are touching. Maybe I'm just going to keep the heels off the floor. Now, I'm going to bring my right leg up towards the ceiling. So the knee is directly above the hip. And I'm going to take that leg down again. And then other side. Leg comes up and down. Now, don't get fixated on the breath. Some people breathe in, some people breathe out. And the other thing you want to notice is, maybe you can see it on the camera, is watch my ankle. What we're trying to avoid is dropping the heel down and taking the foot, or bringing the heel to the bum and bringing it up. So the angle of the knee wants to stay the same the whole time. So as you work left and right, just notice, like I've got my hands on my hips. Am I feeling a wobbling left and right? Or am I feeling the hands move towards my shoulders and then my hands move towards my heels? So just feel if there's any movement, undue movement. Relaxing your shoulders across the front of the chest, the collarbones. And we're going to just carry on a few more with these. So especially if you're a brand new person, these should feel challenging. In fact, they never get any easier. It doesn't matter how long you've been doing Pilates. Because if you think how big your thigh bones are, biggest bones in your body, so as long as you're breathing, good. Relax the shoulders. Even I feel my shoulders tensing up. And we're going to do one more towards the left side. Keep that back down. So, you know, the minute you feel that back lifting, you know that you're losing that connection. Bring the leg down and give your knees a hug. Lovely jubbly. So those are called single knee folds. And we're going to make it a little bit more challenging. So we'll go through 2 of them just to see how it feels in your back. And then you might decide, actually, you're going to stick to the single ones. Okay? So the first part of it starts exactly the same. So I'm sending my lower back down. And I often find just taking that breath out, I'll bring my ribs closer towards the hips, hips closer towards the ribs, and then I start to lighten the feet. So we're going to bring the left leg, I'll bring the right one up because that's the one closest to the camera. Now once I'm in this position, I'm focusing on almost trying to push my bum deeper into the mat, and what happens is the other leg just floats up. So I'm going to exaggerate what you might find in your head. So with the second leg, if your body hasn't anchored enough, what will happen, and it's quite hard to do this wrong, you might find like the body did a little bit of a jiggle. Okay? This needs to all be anchored down. Now hold that position. How does your lower back feel? If you like, oh, and it's too much, you can either bring those knees a little bit closer to the chest. It's going to help the back stay down, and then as you get stronger and stronger and stronger, you can move the legs away. Or keep the knees there and drop the heels. Okay, and again, as you get stronger and stronger and stronger, you can lift the legs. So having the knees closer helps to keep the back down. But otherwise, we want to have the knees directly above the hips. And now start to bring the right leg back down, but keep that knee angle the same. So we're not dropping the foot down, that's cheating. You're going to send, it's a hip movement. Once that leg is still softly on the floor, we're going to bring the left leg down. My lower back is still down. Now I'm going to float the left leg up. Now as you float your right leg up, notice if there's any jolt in your head. There shouldn't be. It should be nice and flowy. Shoulders are relaxed. The lower back is imprinting. So just check. Maybe you need to bring that the knees in a little bit more. And then float your left leg down. So it doesn't matter what you're breathing on. Just breathe and make sure that you are breathing. And then bring that leg down. Ah, good. Give your knees another little cuddle. So things to like really watch with these is we don't want the tummy pushing out. We always want to be pulling in the tummy. So we're working the deep internal muscles that support the back, especially transverse abdominis, which is a huge corset muscle that wraps around the whole front of the body. It's like a corset. And that's what we're really trying to target with these exercises. So be mindful that your belly button isn't pushing out. Okay, sometimes people, instead of breathing tummy in, they push their bellies out. So just, like I said, I like to have my hands on my hips, on my belly. Is everything doing what it's meant to be doing? Good. So we're going to bring those legs into tabletop again. So that's what it's called when the legs are up. So lower back is down, flat back. Any leg, bring it up. Other leg, no movement in the body. And now we're going to do something called toe taps. So again, have your hands over your tummy if you need to. Relax your shoulders. The knee stays at the same angle, and I'm going to drop the leg hinging at the hip. So as I take the leg down, what might want to happen is that back might want to lift. So push it down. This is why it's an abdominal exercise. You've really got to squeeze the tummy in. Touch the floor with your toes. Bring the knee up. Other leg. Touch the floor with the toes. bring the knees up. Now what you're not doing, so just be mindful, it's not just the ankle dropping down. The space between your heel and your bum wants to be the same the whole time. So if you've got any tightness in your psoas muscle, which is connected to your lower spine and the front of your pelvis, you might find that this is quite challenging to keep your lower back down. So you've really got to focus on tummy in, shoulders relaxed, making sure the chin's not lifting, we're not lifting the upper back. I can't remember what leg we started on, right one. And then one more to this left side. Good. And then bring your knees in. Hooray! Well done, guys, well done. So, roll onto your side, push yourself up, and we're going to come into front lying. Nice passive swings, just to open up that front of the body. So I've got my elbows under my hips, elbows under my shoulders, and push the floor away. Give your bum a little wiggle. Just a nice relaxing, nice stretch for the front of the body. And then bring yourself up onto your knees. So, for this next one, I'm going to be working on hands. So we're going to come onto the hands and we're going to focus on scapulars, so shoulder blades, stability, but also it's going to be a lot of abdominal work. Now, if your hands, your wrists, if there's too much, you come onto your elbows. So you don't need to be up on the hands. You can do this on the elbows, okay? In fact, it's harder on elbows. So I'm actually going to do this against a wall. Can you see me there? Yeah. So what we're going to do is we're going to drop the chest to the floor so that the shoulder blades come together. And then we're going to push the body up towards the ceiling. We're going to drop the shoulder blades together and we're going to push the body away from the floor. And in fact, doing it on the elbows is quite a nice way to start if you've never done these. These are called scapular push-ups. And they really help to strengthen the muscles that stabilize your shoulder joints, serratus anterior, it's wrapped around there. So it's a really good strengthening exercise for that. So let's actually all start on the elbows for this one. Now have your knees a little bit further back, just to make those abs work harder. So we're going to drop the chest to the floor, let the shoulder blades come together, pull your tummy in. Now be aware that you're not sticking your bum up towards the ceiling. That lower back wants to be flat, so you're almost pulling the ribs and the hips closer together. So drop the heart, and then push the heart away from the floor. Drop the heart, push the heart away from the floor. Now, if you have a block, pop the block onto the back of the head. See if it can stay there. So drop and lift. Drop. Now the reason I say if you've got a block or something is because often people will drop their heads. And we want the head and the spine to be in the same position. The only thing we are working is the shoulder joint. Good. So just do a couple more. Lovely. So give those shoulders a little jiggle. And then we are going to take it into, it's like our variations of the planks. We just find, because the nature of the clients that we have at the studio, they tend to be a bit older, maybe 60s, 70s, even 80s, and who wants to be doing full planks for 6 minutes when you're at that age? I don't even want to do it now. So, but we do variations because they are good exercises and they do help to keep shoulders strong, spine strong, and everything else. So that's what we're going to focus on now. Now, for some people, trying to get into a plank just goes tits up and they land up with their bum in the air. So this is how we teach our clients at the studio to come into a good plank. So we're going to be on the elbows and we're going to poke the bum up in the air. Okay? So breathe in. Exhale, send one leg out, send the other leg out, drop the bum. Lift the bum, come back in, come back in. And then when you take it out again, you start the other side. So leg goes out, drop the bum. Lift, ooh, other leg in. And then you just carry on, out, come back in, out, drop the bum, come back in. Okay? So, we're going to do another couple of those. We'll just do one more on the left and one more on the right. So it's a really good way just to get that bum dropping, and of course there's no pain in the wrist because we're on the elbows, so we'll do that one again. So elbows directly under the shoulders, knees under the hips. Breathe in. As you breathe out, left leg goes out, right leg goes out. Now my bum's up. Drop the bum. Lift the bum, left leg in, right leg in. Breathe in, last one. Right leg goes out, left leg goes out, drop the bum, push the floor away from you, lift the bum, right leg in, left leg in, ta-da! And you've done a plank. So like I said, just for the nature of our clients, they're still getting really good abdominal strength, still getting really good shoulder strengthening exercises. But like I said, who wants to hold a plank for half an hour? Most of us have got things to do. Right, so this one might get a few of you. My clients hate these, but again, still really good shoulder strength and exercise. So we're going to be gentle to start with, which is side planks. So Joseph Pilates did some really, really wacky stuff, but we are just going to start very, very, very basically. So the knees are going to be bent towards the front of the mat, and the feet are flat on the floor. I'm only doing the basic version today, but by all means, if you're used to doing side planks, you crack on and you do the ones that you're used to. Elbow is under shoulder. My top hand is on the floor. Now, if I can't reach, some people might have shorter arms. Just put a block or books or something under there. So breath in. Now, as you exhale, you're going to lift the hips and lift it up to the ceiling. But I'm pushing out of the shoulder. So I don't want to be sinking. The shoulder doesn't want to be anywhere near the neck or the ears. You can take that hand up if you want and then drop it down. Let's do 3 more. So breath in. If you need to, use your hand. So we're engaging all these muscles on the underside of the body. Good. Push away, push away, push the shoulder, push the shoulder, push the shoulder, and then bring itself down. So I can already feel this coming into the back. Let's pop over to this side. And again, often you might find one side is easier than the other. Don't be surprised. So knees are stacked, top hip above bottom. My elbow is underneath the shoulder, and I'm pushing the floor away from me. Top hand is on the floor. Breathe in. And then exhale, lift. And then come back down. So the most important part with this one is that you're not sinking into your shoulder joint. It's almost like you're trying to push your ear away from the floor. So always imagine there's dog poo there. Sometimes you need a bit of visualization, and then you're trying to get your ear away from the dog poo. If you want to take that hand up, you can. Good. And then last one. Excellent. And then bring your hand down. So bring yourself back up, and we're going to come into the cat-cows and a bit of child pose, a little bit of spine mobility, and then we're done. So for some people, you might not be able to sit like this. Stack cushions under your bum if that's the case, so that your hips are a little bit higher, but no pain in your knees when we're in this position. If you've got any pain, you can just come into that position there, okay? So in your child pose, just reach your arms forward for a moment, just release your back after. We've just done those side planks and also just loosening off the shoulders. Good. Bring yourself to all fours. Take a little step forward with your hands, and then pull the tummy in, and you're going to lift the crown of your head up towards the ceiling, send your heart forward, and then squeeze your bum as you send your hips down. It's really important to squeeze your bum in this position. And then pull it back, tummy in, and then either you stay at all fours and you do a little bit of cat-cow, or you come down to child. So we'll just do 2 or 3. Coming back to all fours, tummy in, lift, squeeze your bum, lift your heart, push the floor away. Again, we don't want to be sagging in the shoulders. Tummy in, and then carry on. Stop, carry on. And then lift. Last one. Again, it's just a little bit of spine moving, just after all that stuff that we've done. And then you can bring yourself back to the front. So, hope you enjoyed the session today. Nice little bit of tummy burn, more about pelvis stability. So the stronger the core, the more freedom the joints have to move and do what they need to do without affecting everything else. And that is all for the session today. I hope you enjoyed it. My name is Tanja from Elite Pilates and Yoga, and subscribe to our channel, and yeah, have fun. Bye.